Hello everyone, my name is Justine Hebert. I am a graduate student studying my Master's of Fine Arts of Interior Design, and my research is based on the influence of lighting in third places. My proposed research is studying the influence of lighting within third places to determine if the lighting has any effect on how someone working in a third place feels more productive or creative. I think it's important here to define and explain what a third place is, although it is shown in my definitions. But a third place is a place outside of your house and your traditional office. So it could be anything from the post office to a coffee shop, library, airport terminal, public parks, cafes. There's many different types of third places, but it's basically a gathering point for you to do whatever you want to leisurely just enjoy or work or meet with people. The importance or the interesting aspect of my research is the lighting within third places. I'm seeing that more and more millennials especially, but our generation and society is starting to work outside of the office. It was on a personal level, I do that now with my business. I have an interior design firm, and I am constantly jumping into coffee shops to just get something done for work, or I'll just be parked in my car outside of a building just to get something done. So I started getting an interest based on that. And when you think about lighting in third places, and then you think about lighting in general, lighting is everywhere. It's from the sun, which is our source of natural light, to artificial lighting. Lighting is everywhere. It also helps us to actually see what we're doing. It scientifically works with our body in our eyes to actually see what we're writing down, what we're reading, what we're seeing, what we're interpreting. And it also helps us to evoke emotions, whether you walk into a brightly lit facility that's at a plant, or if you're going into a intimate romantic restaurant, that lighting is going to be dim. So lighting affects how we feel, how we see things, and it can actually also boost health, such as seasonal affective disorder, or even anxiety. Specific brightness levels and color temperatures of lighting can actually help people reduce anxiety. It's also been shown, light exposure studies have been shown to help people with certain types of diabetes, helps people dealing with dementia to sleep better. So lighting is a very integral part to how we function day to day. And that brings me to circadian rhythms. So circadian rhythms it's a natural cycle within our bodies that is very closely matched to a 24-hour period. It's not quite 24 hours, but it's very close. And a regulated circadian rhythm helps to keep organs functioning properly, it's our wake-sleep cycle, so it helps us to know when do we need to be awake versus when we should be sleepy and tired. You'll see boosts in your circadian rhythm during the day after that mid-morning boost when you're at the office, and you have that kind of spike down to that afternoon lull. That's typically when someone's, grabbing a coffee or a snack like me. But, the circadian rhythm is really functioned by lighting, especially with the sleep-wake cycle. When the sun rises, that's when our circadian rhythm and our body temperature starts to raise. And then, okay, we're awake, down to at the evening time when we're sleepy, and your organs actually are secreting melatonin. That's all intertwined with the circadian rhythm. So the circadian rhythm and lighting play very important roles, especially considering the lighting triggers one of the photoreceptors in our retina, which actually helps to keep their circadian rhythm going. So that brings me to the significance of my study. Why do I keep talking about circadian rhythms and lighting in third places? I want to see if there are properties of lighting that are organically in third places that mimic circadian lighting. So there's circadian, I'm jumping around a little bit, but manufacturers in the last 5 to 10 years have started producing light fixtures that are called and based on circadian lighting. And what that means is it changes its brightness levels during the day and color temperature to help mimic daylighting effects of how people's circadian rhythms are regulated. So that brings me to the purpose of my study, to study the effects of lighting in third places and how it may appear to influence the user. This is important. Like I said, people are starting to use third places to work more. And I've always been interested in lighting because it does help boost our moods and how we feel. So I'm hoping to study the characteristics of lighting within third places to determine if we're working more productively and creatively within third places. My problem statement, the purpose of the study is to determine if there's a positive effect of lighting within third places. And if so, how can we replicate this in the workplace? You know, you're seeing in the workplace generally overhead fluorescent lighting. We're starting to see more LED lighting today, but it's all downlit, meaning from the ceiling coming down versus uplit or indirect, and that's causing glares on our computer screens. We're not seeing as many windows, maybe a lot of cubicles in your space. So that's where my problem comes. My research question is, does the lighting in third places make people think they work more productively and creatively? And my hypothesis is people working in third places appear to be working more productively and creatively than working in a traditional office setting. You'll see here my definitions and my terms. So I already kind of talked about third place, but I'm focusing on productivity and creativity within work-related tasks. So not that you're being productive doing whatever you want within a third place, but you're using that third place to work, where you could go to your office, but you choose to go to a third place. I want to know, you know, why are you choosing that place? How, if so, how is it making you more productive or creative? How do you feel? How does the lighting affect that? Is it because there's more natural light? Is it because there's a lot of different types of spotlighting, highlighting walls? Is it the color temperature of the light fixture within the space? My review of literature, I'm basically showing a Venn diagram of circadian lighting in third places and how they overlap with the characteristics of lighting found within each one. So trying to kind of create a bridge to connect that there might be circadian lighting attributes within third places. So looking on the left column, circadian lighting, these are a few kind of bullet points that really highlight how circadian lighting works. As I talked about, the health benefits towards it, with, for example, seasonal affective disorder. It's also now part of the Well Building Institute, circadian lighting. Well Building Institute is kind of like LEED certification. There's Well Building certification, and that basically is a point system, an award system that acknowledges buildings that are promoting the user. So like the employee or the worker, there's elements in the space that help them to boost their well-being and overall happiness and satisfaction. And circadian lighting is one of the point systems within that. And then I kind of touched on it, but characteristics of lighting that are kind of markers of circadian lighting is a balance of natural light, exposure to it, and a nice balance of it. And artificial lighting that mimics natural lighting. That's through brightness, through illuminating the wall and the ceiling versus just illuminating the floor or the work surface. And color temperature. Color, there are many different colors of lighting, and I'm talking about like shades of white. So you can actually see cool tones down to warm tones. Circadian lighting that works well is able to change its color within one fixture, mimicking that daylighting pattern from sunrise to sunset. And below, I'm sourcing some sites or researchers that have published work proving that circadian lighting does help with productivity. And then third place is, it's a growing trend of a place to work. A lot of people would rather work in a third place than at home. Sometimes home can be kind of distracting. You might want to fold laundry. That's what I typically do, and I need to be working. I also like I like my coffee, so it's nice to just travel to a third place to get some work done. Also, what's important too is third places offering, for employers offering employees a chance to go and work outside of the office has been shown that people feel like they can be more productive because they're in more control of where they want to work. So autonomy is a term that I use for that. Herman Miller has done many studies where people are happier when they have a choice to work versus a choice of where to work versus they have to go to their same cubicle every day, all day. And then Starbucks is kind of one of the anchors to third places. They have actually marketed their business as being a third place. They're not selling themselves just for coffee. They're selling themselves for experience. So I have been researching what the lighting designers within Starbucks are saying, and they place a big emphasis on use of natural light and residential feeling type of lighting. My research method will be an online survey. Using the survey, I'm going to have table tents at 2 coffee shops in town, Rev Coffee Roasters. They have 2 locations in town. I'm talking kind of fast now because I'm running out of time, but I got approval to put some table tents with the kind of information of what I'm doing, what I'm looking for, and I'm going to ask anyone just using the space that is there for work to please fill out my survey. I'm thinking it'll be better than me actually walking up to them, disrupting them, and giving them a piece of paper and saying, hey, can you take my survey? So I think that's a good route for me to do. It also, what I like about it is that I'm going to kind of jump forward, but I think it'd be easier to organize the data. I'll be able to filter through, because some of my first questions will be, are you here for work? Are you performing work-related tasks? So the ones that say no, I'll probably just filter out and use the ladder for my population. And I just kind of talked about that there. So my instrumentation is the online survey, and here's my positives referring to that. And then once I collect the data, I want to create a comparison of how well participants felt productive in relation to where they sat in the coffee shop, and then hopefully get some interviewing from some of these participants that are willing to give me some feedback verbally, and try to create a correlation. So these are my references. Thank you for your time. I'm sorry I went a little bit over, but I really appreciate it.